There are ideas that explain what already exists, and then there are ideas that change the way you look at everything around you. The Virexon Cycle belongs to the second category. At first glance, it seems like a book about patterns, but after only a few chapters, it becomes clear that it is actually about something much larger. It explores why people repeat the same mistakes, why entire societies move through similar cycles, why history often appears different on the surface, yet follows familiar structures underneath, and why many of the decisions we believe are completely our own may be influenced by forces we rarely notice. The central idea of the Virexon Cycle is surprisingly simple. Everything operates in patterns: markets, technology, media, attention, human behavior, even the way we define success. Most people experience these events as isolated moments. The book argues that they are connected, not through coincidence but through recurring structures that quietly repeat over time. Instead of focusing on motivation or productivity, the Virexon Cycle asks a different question. What if understanding the pattern matters more than trying harder inside it? Throughout the book, recurring themes appear again and again. Attention has become one of the world's most valuable resources. Modern systems compete constantly for it. The more attention they capture, the more influence they gain. But influence is not always obvious. Sometimes it arrives through habits, sometimes through entertainment, sometimes through information itself. The Virexon Cycle suggests that many systems do not require control through force. They only require enough distraction to prevent people from seeing the larger picture. Whether someone agrees with this perspective or not, it encourages readers to stop accepting every assumption automatically. Another important idea explored throughout the book is decision-making. People often believe they make rational choices, yet psychology repeatedly shows that emotions, social influence, incentives, and repeated exposure shape far more decisions than most realize. The Virexon Cycle brings these concepts together into one larger framework. Rather than presenting isolated psychological principles, it asks readers to consider how they interact with economics, technology, media, and culture simultaneously. Perhaps the most interesting aspect of the book is that it rarely tells readers exactly what to believe. Instead, it presents observations, patterns, questions, connections. The goal is not agreement. The goal is awareness. Many books promise transformation by offering answers. The Virexon Cycle takes a different approach. It suggests that better questions often matter more than immediate answers. Because once people begin recognizing recurring structures for themselves, they no longer rely entirely on someone else's interpretation of reality. Some readers describe the book as philosophy. Others call it psychology. Some compare it to systems thinking. Others see elements of economics, behavioral science, and history. Perhaps the reason it is difficult to categorize is because it intentionally crosses traditional boundaries. It treats human behavior as part of a larger interconnected system, rather than isolated subjects. Whether discussing financial cycles, social trends, or individual decisions, the underlying message remains consistent. Patterns exist. Most people simply never stop long enough to notice them. The title itself reflects this central concept: a cycle, not a single event, not one explanation, but recurring movements that influence people, institutions, and societies over long periods of time. The question is not whether patterns exist. The question is whether we recognize them before they repeat again. For many readers, that is what makes the Virexon Cycle memorable, not because it claims to have every answer, but because it encourages a different way of observing the world. Whether you agree with every conclusion or simply find the ideas interesting, the book invites one habit above all else: to slow down, pay attention, question assumptions, and look for the patterns that may have been there all along, because once you begin seeing recurring patterns, you rarely stop noticing them.